Have you visited the Elmhurst Public Library lately? The Kids Library is a wonderful place. When not being used for library programs and classes, Elmhurst Public Library cardholders can reserve the meeting rooms. The second floor is where you can find the adult and teen collections. An enclosed area, devoted to high school students, provides space to create, play, share, and study together. Use our computers, or bring your own, to our work-friendly business center. Technology classes for all expertise levels are taught in the computer lab. High-quality audio and visual equipment in the Creative Studio gives you the opportunity to create, record, make, and invent. You can produce real items with the 3D printer and poster printer. Study rooms provide space for studying on your own or working with others. The larger gathering room is available to reserve by Elmhurst Public Library cardholders. Our convenient book drop and drive-up window make picking up and returning library materials a breeze. Don't forget, Elmhurst Public Library is always open online at elmhurstpubliclibrary.org.
Join world-renowned explorer Professor Duffy Haberstam as she prepares for the next great adventure, going in search of harmony. She's lecturing today to a class at the University of Maine. Let's eavesdrop on that lecture.
Welcome to the University of Maine. This is our first ever class on the expedition in search of harmony. This is an interactive class, so I hope you all came prepared. Before we begin, I must ask how many of you have never, this is your first visit to the grand state of Maine? You go ahead. I see there's a lot of you here that's from away, so I'm going to explain something for you. I'm going to explain Maine's interpretation of the English language. We have absolutely zero respect for the letter R. We remove it from words where it's necessary, and then we add it wherever we feel like it later on. Just so you know. Now, if I should say anything here this afternoon that you don't quite understand, please feel free to see me after class, and I'll be happy to explain. Now, I did start preparing for this class with a visit to the library. Now, when I went there with the idea that they might have some things we could use for our expedition. So as we embark, I'm going to take a look at some of these with you. Now, the first place I looked, now we know we're looking for harmony, right? We just don't know where we're going yet. Now, I got the globe, so the world is at our disposal. Can anybody tell me what's the name of this continent right here? It's at the bottom. Anybody know what that is? Go ahead, yell it out. Okay, now I know you're from away because you just said Antarctica. Where I come from and where you are right now, it's Antarctica. Now I know what you're thinking. That's my father's sister. But it's not Antarctica. What I'm thinking, and it's just too cold there. We had freezing rain and sleet today, and it's even colder there. So we're not going to go to Antarctica. So if we move the globe just a little bit to the right and look to the left, we could go to Africa. But the problem with Africa is that it's wicked hot. But that's not the only thing. It's the humidity. So we're not going to Africa. So if we go over here to South America, right over here, that would be an awesome place to go because it's wicked warm, it's comfy, but they all speak Spanish. And I barely speak English. So that ain't going to work either. Now I'm telling you, if we're searching for harmony, I bet there's some singing going on. 5, 6, 7, 8.
As long as I'm singing, there's a bell up in my brain that's ringing. It's making a crazy ding dong dong. And if my friends don't desert me, then there's nothing in the world can hurt me. Long as I am singing my song, I sing my song. Give me basses, ooh, and then put some berries with them, and the leaves are all withered. Add some rhythm, bum 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 bum. As long as I'm singing, then the world's all right and everything's swinging. Long as I'm singing my song, my song. You know that making music is more to me than a pleasure. 'Cause me and music, we go together like notes in a measure. Long as I'm singing, then the world's all right and everything's swinging. Long as I'm singing my, long as I'm ringing my, long as I'm singing, I love to sing it to ya. I'm shouting hallelujah, sing my song.
Now, the world, or the earth, is a good place to start looking for harmony. But I thought maybe we should narrow the scope a little bit. So I asked the librarian for a microscope. And then I thought maybe that's not such a good idea. That's a little bit too narrow. So then I asked her for a microscope. Nope, I asked her for a telescope. I asked her for a telescope. They didn't have any. They were fresh out. So she gave me a kaleidoscope. I never used one of them before. I'm not even sure which end of it works. Ooh, there's pretty colors in there. If I turn it just a little bit, look at that, there's a rainbow. Now that's harmony.
There's a rainbow to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow blues, happy little bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why? Then oh, why can't I? Why can't I? Why? Then oh, why? Why then oh, why can't I?
That ain't gonna work. Have any of you ever been somewhere over the rainbow? We just can't get there from here. So the next thing I asked for from the librarian, I asked her if she could maybe use Google Maps. She didn't know what I meant. She didn't know how to Google a map. So she did give me this paper one. And as I unfolded it, I thought, what about North America? The weather's good most of the time. English is spoken fluently. It ain't Mainish, but it's close enough. It'll do. It'll work. What do you all think about maybe going to the United States of America looking for harmony? I know what you're thinking. Not a lot of harmony there right now. There must have been at one point, or they wouldn't call it the land of the free and the home of the brave.
If tomorrow all the things were gone and worked for all my life, if I had to start again with just my family by my side, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, but at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt
thinking that the United States of America is just too massive. Kind of like the compass they gave me at the library. This one, too, is kind of massive. We're going to use it to point us to our next direction, but before we go there, I got another question for you. Does anybody out there know the capital of the state of Maine? Don't say M. What'd you say? I heard it over here. Did you say Augusta? You from Maine? Because that's how we say it. Well, that's wicked awesome. Did you know? Because the compass is pointing us to southeast. Okay, we're going to go to the southeast next. Did you know that in Georgia, they got a city there named Augusta? Yeah, I think maybe we'll try Georgia next.
Melodies bring memories that linger in my heart. Make me think of Georgia. Why did we ever part? Some sweet day when blossoms fall and all the world's a song. I'll go back to Georgia, 'cause that's where I belong. Georgia, Georgia. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia. A song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines, through the pines. Other arms reach out to me, other eyes smile tenderly. Still in peaceful dreams I see the road leads back to you, Papa, Georgia, Georgia, no peace I find. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, Georgia on my Georgia on my mind.
Georgia does have an indication of where harmony could exist, but I'm having a wicked hard time understanding them people. They kind of talk funny, and these Maineians just don't get it. Now, desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm going to ask the folks over on this side over here, do you know what this is? It's a magic 8-ball, that's right. It's wicked good at predicting the weather, but it's really not quite as good as a Maine weather rock. You ever heard of a Maine weather rock? No, I'm going to tell you about it. If it's wet, it's raining. There's no shadow and it's dry, it's cloudy. If it's not visible, it's foggy. It's got ice on it, there's a frost. It's got thick ice on it, it's a heavy frost. If it's warm, then it's sunny and it's one fine day.
Shooby-dooby-dooby-dooby-doo-wop-wop, 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 shooby-dooby-dooby-dooby-doo-wop-wop. One fine day you'll look at me, and you will know our love was meant to be. And one fine day you're gonna wants to run around, wants to run around. I'll keep waiting, and someday, darling, you'll come to me when you want to settle down. Oh, one fine day we'll meet once more, and then you'll want the love you threw away before. And one fine day you're gonna want me for your girl, your girl. You're gonna want me one fine day, one fine day.
Yes, sir. We got good weather. We got a climate conducive to harmonious, that's a hard word to say when you take the R out, relationships. Maybe my trusty viewmaster will give us a better picture of how harmonious this place might be for the long term. Isn't that cunning?
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. That is what the poet writes. But I can only love you in just one way. To keep love shining ever bright. When somebody loves you, it's no good unless he loves you all the way. Happy to be near you when you need someone to cheer you all the way. Taller than the tallest trees. That's how it's got to feel. I feel deeper than the deep blue seas. That's how deep it is when it's real. When somebody needs you, it's no good unless he needs you all the way. Through the good or lean years and for all the in-between years, come what may. Who knows where the road will lead us? Only a fool would say, but if you let me love you, it's for sure I'm gonna love you all the way. Love you, dear, forever and a day, for always. Faithful I will stay, love you all the way.
So it would seem that long-term harmony is possible. Now, you're never going to believe what else they gave me from the library. This is my antique computer tablet. That was the delete key. Now we're going to make our list, the places we've looked at so far. We've looked at the world. We've looked at Antarctica. We looked at Africa, South America, North America, the United States of America, and we even looked at Georgia as a possibility, but that was just too restricting. You remember that time back in the beginning when we started looking for harmony? I can't help thinking, you suppose it's in a place with a sentimental connection? Now, you remember the librarian said they didn't have any telescopes, so we couldn't use one of those? They gave me a set of binoculars. You know, even the best equipment ain't very useful if it ain't used right. If we're not careful, we could end up out in the pucker brush. We got an expression, those of you from away, we got an expression here in Maine that's perfect. I got turned around a bit. So I bet these will be very helpful in our search for harmony.
Oh, how can it be? You made a wreck out of me. You turned the tables on me, plain to see. And now I'm falling for you. You turned the tables on me, yes, sirree. I can't believe that it's true. I always thought when you brought the lovely presents you bought, why hadn't you brought me more? But now if you'd come, I'd welcome anything from the 5 and 10 cent store. You used to call me the top. I was the top. You put me up on a throne. I fell with a drop. And now I'm out on my own. I'm on my own. But after thinking it over and over, I got what was coming to me. And just like the sting of a bee, you turned the tables on me. You turned the tables, turn the tables, you told me. I was the top, right on top. You let me fall with a over. I got what was coming to me, yeah, just like the sting of a bee, How did this happen to me, You turn the tables on me, and I'm in. It's true, I'm smitten with you. Something gave me a shove. Now I'm in love, so in love.
You know, I think I may have figured it out. No matter where we are in the world, or in the United States of America, if we take a closer look, right here, it's not so much where we are, but who we are with. Harmony doesn't seem to be a place, because it's the people in the place. We probably should ought to take advantage of each encounter, because for all we know, it might be our last encounter.
Happiness may go, romance sometimes ends, you know. Love can often vanish much too fast, much too fast. Dear one, from the start, you know that you've won my heart. Help me now to make this moment last. Make this moment last. For all we know, we may never meet again. Before you go, make this moment sweet again. We won't say goodnight until the last minute. I'll hold out my hand, and my heart will be in it. For all we know, this may only be a dream. We come and go like a ripple on a stream. So love me tonight. Tomorrow was made for some. Tomorrow may never come. For all we know. Tomorrow may never come. For all we know, tomorrow may never come. For all we know.
Here, if we go to a place where there are friends gathered together, we not only see harmony, we get to experience harmony. So I was thinking, I just remembered, I got a GPS thing on my phone. I don't use it very much, so bear with me. Oh, sorry, I got a call coming in. Hello? Yeah? Yeah, I know we're wicked close. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go down the road a bit. How much is a bit? Okay, so, okay, I'm going down the road, and I'm gonna come to a fork in the road, and I'm gonna wanna make a left. But no. Okay, I gotta go.
We'll now have a 15-minute intermission. See you back in 15. Thank you.
Good job.
I'm not doing anything. I just thought I'd come out and say hi. Welcome back from intermission. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you our next performers. I'm going to say it the way it's supposed to be said rather than the way I would probably say it if I were at home. Please welcome the Skinkers.
Tonight won't be just any night. Tonight there will be no morning star. Tonight, I'll see my love tonight, and for us stars will stop where they are. Today the minutes seem like hours, the hours go so slowly, and still the sky is light. The sky is light. Oh, moon, grow bright and make this endless day, endless night. Tonight, I'll see my love tonight, and for us stars will stop where they are. Today the minutes seem like hours, the hours go so slowly, and still the sky is light. The sky is light. Oh, moon, grow bright and make this endless day, endless night. Tonight. Thank you very much. We are very, very excited to be standing right here. Apparently it's loud enough. Right there.
Charlie.
Okay.
Better here than over there?
Yeah, move over, please. Yes, thank you very much. We are very excited to be here and singing. Well, I have to speak for myself. I am very glad to be here. I didn't think I'd be able to make the show this evening. I was kind of worried we weren't going to be here for the chorus. But lo and behold, well, it's because I was fighting a very bad cold the last week and a half, and I have fixed that problem. You see, I have found the cure for the common cold, and I have found the back off, please, a little bit. I have found the cure for the common cold. That's right.
The cure for the common cold.
Yes.
You care to enlighten us?
Sure. It's see what you do is you eat a pound of prunes every day for 1 week. It works. Yes, it does.
A pound of prunes.
Every day for 1 week. Correct. Yes.
That's the cure for the common cold.
Well, no, but it sure makes you think twice before you cough. I'll tell you that right there. Can't say that.
Okay. We actually are really happy to be here. How many of you out there are barber shoppers? All right, we got a couple barber shoppers. Good. The rest of you are normal people, I guess. All right. Well, probably a lot of the ladies out there, maybe some of the guys too, when you were very young, you had dreams of having your own pony. Little horses, they're just wonderful for the kids. And this song is a lullaby that speaks to those dreams of little girls going to bed dreaming about owning their own pony. And it's going to feature our tenor, Wendy. It's called All the Pretty Little Horses.
I to sleep, my little baby.
When you
shall have the pretty little horses.
blacks and bays, daples and grays,
Coach and 6 of little horses.
hush a while, don't you cry. Go to sleep, my little baby.
Well, speaking of lullabies, I would sing that to my daughter. I have 2 little kids at home. Well, they're not so little anymore, 8 and 11, but they like the lullaby. They also loved a bedtime story. And growing up, I also liked a bedtime story, and this bald guy here is my brother. And he liked a bedtime story, and our dad would tell us a very special one. My friends would request it because it was very funny. My favorite was Cinderella. However, the way my dad told it to us was a little twisted. It's a spoonerism. So you're gonna have to put your thinking caps on for this one. Now, this story takes place a tong lime ago. Tong lime ago, when pork nicks were about a chopple apiece. Chopple. Now imagine, if you will, this little gisp of a whirl, though she was prairie viddy, she had 2 sissy ugglers. 2 sissy ugglers who made her hay at stone and flop the moors and do all the other chasty nors around the castle. Well, they went to all the fancy dress falls, you see. Well, one day, a pransome hince was passing a tardy for the teeple of the pound. And of course the Somely Histers went, but poor Perinderella had to hay at stone. So far, so good? Okay, this sounds right to me. Does this sound right to anybody else? Okay. Well, to make a long story short, while she was sitting there, her gaudy fair mother appeared. And she happed her clans, and in the ash of a flybrow, that's fast, transformed Perinderella into a babishing Rudy. Yeah. A babishing Rudy. Well, meanwhile, out at the stirrup cone sat this magnificent Colden Goach. Magnificent, used to be a little pipe yellow rumpkin. Well, the driver said, the gaudy fair mother, not the driver, the gaudy fair mother said, dive to the drance, but be absolutely certain that you are home by the moke of Stridnight. The moke of Stridnight. So with this, the driver whacked his crip, and they were off in a doubt of clust. Well, to make a long story shorter, when they got to the dance, the nymphs went absolutely pruts over this provely lincess. And after they had been hancing a couple of dowers, he was hazier than Crever about Perinderella. Remember the Somely Histers? The Somely Histers. They sat violently sigh, not cinderizing Rickinella in her goyle rarments, you see. Well, all of a sudden, the moke of Stridnight, and Scrimderella scrimmed, she got the heck out of there is what she did. I was clean, there's a kid in the front row. It's your kid, actually.
He's heard worse.
He's heard worse, yeah. But in stunning down the long reps, She slopped her dripper. I know, right? I hate when that happens. Well, she slopped her dripper. Well, let me tell you, that pin's he pounced upon it with eeming glies. And the very next day, that pin's tied all over trown to find the probably lincess who's fit foot that slimy tipper. But he could find none other than Our Lady Prinderella. So as our tarryfale comes to a close, Prinderella marries the Cince, and they side off into the runset and hap lively after everward. Thank you. And if you like that one, you'll like, my favorite is the P Little Thrigs. You'll like the P Little Thrigs. My favorite part in the P Little Thrigs is when the wolf says to the pigs, I'm gonna puff and I'm gonna huff and I'm gonna hoe your blouse down.
We're in a church.
You know the day's bright, though you can't see the sun. The time is right to put the blues on the run. Sit back, relax, it won't take long, and you'll never go wrong with a song. You got a reason to make the world smile. Most any season, it's really worthwhile. Sing with your neighbor, it really isn't labor, and you'll never go wrong with a song. Birds don't need the sun to sing, bells don't need the light to ring. Now listen in, and if you want to keep spirits in high, just take a deep breath. Oh, long cow, look at the sky. Open your pipes and join the throng, and you'll never go wrong. Do-do-ah, never go wrong. Do-do-ah, never go wrong with a song.
Speaking of family, my family was out. This was back in Christmas time, and we decided to do the traditional thing, the Christmas thing, and go cut down our own and chop down our own Christmas tree. And so we all got in the car and we head out on the road. Well, I forgot my tools, and I left everything in the garage. But we were kind of in the neighborhood of her house, and like she said, she's got a little boy named Griffin. So I decided, you know what, I'll just stop by and I'll borrow the tools so we can not lose any daylight here. So I pulled over and I got on the phone and I called the house, and it was ringing, and I hear somebody pick up and go, hello. I said, hey, Griff, it's your Uncle Craig. What's going on? Is your mom there? I need to ask her a question. No, she's busy. All right, well, where's your dad? Where's your dad? I can ask him. No, she's busy too. He's busy too. I said, well, what's going on over there? They're talking to the policeman. I said, the policeman? Griff, what are the policemen doing there? They're talking to the firemen. I said, the firemen? Griff, the policeman and the firemen, what is everybody doing over there? They're all looking for me. No?
Okay. I'll sing some. Never mind.
What's in there?
'Twas yesterday, life was gay, you said you loved me, but we had to say goodbye. I haven't heard from you, dear. Do you still love me as in days gone by? The days turn to weeks and weeks into years. I've waited so long, now my eyes are filled with tears. Do you really, really love me? Do you really, really care? Do you care? It's been years since we first kissed hello, vowing our love to share. The nights are long and lonely. I miss you more each day. If you really, really love me, that's all I want you to say. If you really, really love me, say that you're mine.
Oh, my.
Drop me a line, say that you're fine. Tell me you're mine.
So my son was in the kitchen with Mom, and he sprung this question on her. He says, "Mom, where do we come from?" She says, "Well, oh boy, I wasn't prepared for that." But she says, "Well, long time ago, there was a couple named Adam and Eve, and they had babies, and those babies grew up, and more babies, and those babies grew up, and so on and so forth." He says, "Okay." So he walked out into the garage where I was working, and he asked me the same thing. "Dad, where did we come from?" I said, "Monkeys, the whole ape, evolution thing." I don't think he liked that answer, because he went back into the kitchen. He says, "Mom, you lied to me. Dad said we all came from monkeys and apes and that kind of thing." She said, "No, he was talking about his side of the family." Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
This little guy's sitting in the front row here going,
I never said that. This is that note.
there we go.
That's what I like. This is just a samba upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the root is still that note. Now this new one is a consequence of the one we've just been through, and it's bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you.
There's so many people who can talk nothing. I am
But knowing at the end it comes to nothing. So I come back to that first note, as I must come back to you. I will pour into that one note all the love I feel for you. Now this one note is a consequence of the one we've just been through. See the unavoidable consequence of you. Nothing. So I come back to that first note, as I must come back to you. I will pour into that one note all the love I feel for you.
One note is a consequence of the one we've just been through. Bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. Nothing. Come back to to that first note as I must come back to you. I will pour into that one note all the love I feel for you. New note is a consequence of the one we've
Not
just
on this
been
page.
Oh no, turn the page.
trying to be.
Oh dear. Shall we
So my son was saying,
I sung this song a million
yeah.
times. I know the notes. Who's got the cue card?
Okay.
It's only one note. Yeah, she's only got one note to learn.
Told you I didn't do words, Cindy.
So
Words, Cindy.
I had a dream last night.
That we finished the song.
Yeah.
How about if we do that?
And I dreamed that my time on earth had come, and I was on my way up to heaven, and I met St. Peter at the gate there, and I said, "Pete, how you doing? Good to see you." He says, "Craig, been expecting you." And I said, "Can I come in?" He says, "Yes, but only on one condition. You take this big piece of chalk right here, and you see that big old staircase over there." He says, "You have to climb that staircase every single step till you reach the gates of heaven. But you have to write on each step, you have to write a sin that you've ever committed in your life." I said, "All right, fine." So I'm stepping and chalking and stepping and chalking. And I get about halfway up there, and I see a figure coming down out of the clouds, and I thought, wow, is that God waiting to welcome me into heaven? And I look a little closer, and it was Bonnie coming back down. I said, "Bonnie, don't tell me that the Lord turned you away from heaven." She said, "No, I'm just going back for more chalk."
We're going to tag it out.
We're gonna take this.
Go ahead.
We had a rehearsal while that was going on.
If you will indulge us, we're going to attempt to finish this song.
So I
Come back to that first note as I must come back to you.
I will
Pour into that one note all the love I feel for you.
anyone
Who wants a whole show, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. She will find herself a no-show, better play the note you know. She will find herself with no show, better play the note you know.
She will
Find herself with no show, better play the note you know. The note you know.
I think we got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hate it when that happens.
Alrighty. Well, we're going to do one more song for you here. It may be something that you only hear around Christmas time, but there's really no good reason to sing it other times because it's really not just a Christmas song. It's about a mother holding her child and thinking about that child's future. It was written by, what's his name? Mark. Mark, who? Lowry. Mark Lowry. He sang with the Gaithers for many years and wrote many wonderful things, but this is probably our favorite of that. You probably heard it at Christmas time, but we're going to sing it for you now because we just love it to death. It's called Mary, Did You Know?
Mary, did you know your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know
Now, please welcome back, under the direction of Jeanne O'Connor, 20-time gold medalist chorus, the Village Vocal Chords.
Let's get ready, throw confetti, and celebrate today. Light a candle, light a candle. Get the ice out, time to shout. Roll the rug, roll it on. It's today, yes, it's today. Though it may not be anyone's birthday, and though it's far from the first of the year, I know that this very minute has history in it. We're here, yes, we're here. It's a time for making merry, oh so merry. And so I'm for making hey, hey, tune the grand up, dance your shoes off, strike the band.
Thank you very much. Village Vocal Chorus, how many of you have been to our show before? Okay. Did you bring your friends? So there's some people who haven't been here before? You know, we really there are a few there. Yes, excellent. We really have a good time singing together, and hopefully that shows. And our next song is one that kind of talks a little bit about why we sing. Because we find that if you're down, if you're not feeling great, if your life isn't going exactly as you want it, if you lift up your head, it'll get better.
Tears in my vision and weigh my heart down. But I found a secret when I knelt to pray. Lift up my head, then he lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away. Roll away, away. Roll away, they roll away, away. Roll away, when I lift up my head, he lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away, roll away, roll away, roll away, Lord, roll away, roll away, Lord. When I lift up my head, he lifts up my heart, and my troubles just all roll away, my troubles just all roll away, roll away, roll away, roll away.
Since some of you have been here to our shows before, you are certainly aware, and if you weren't, maybe our gold medals kind of show that we are in an international championship chorus and are very proud of that. At this point, we've won 20 international medals, and what happens when you win a medal, the gold medal, is sit out of the next contest for a year and just be outgoing champions and have a great time at contest. Well, so that 20 medals represents like 40 years of winning. Well, we're heading toward number 41. This year we will be competing again and hoping to earn a qualifying spot in June when we sing in Bloomington, Illinois. And then we'll be heading for our international contest, which this year is in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Cool, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So what we're going to do for you now is we're going to give you a little sneak preview of our contest package. When we compete in a contest, we sing 2 songs for a number of judges who then score us in various aspects of the performance. We're going to sing for you now the 2 songs that we'll be singing in June in Bloomington and hopefully in Halifax in November.
I search for love through all my life, and finally I found you. And now you ask of me, will I always be true? Will I love you as we grow old, till all the stars turn cold, and be by your side for always, as all life's seasons unfold. If ever I would leave you, it couldn't be in summer, seeing you in summer, I never would go. Your hair streaked with sunlight, your lips soft as rain, your face with a luster that puts gold to shame. But if I'd ever leave you, it couldn't be in autumn. How I leave in autumn, I never will know. The love in your laughter when fall nips the air. I know you in autumn, and I must be there. I must be there. And could I leave you running merrily through the snow, or on a wintry evening when you catch the fire's glow? If ever I would leave you. How could it be in springtime, knowing how in spring I'm bewitched by you so? Oh no, not in springtime, or summer, winter, or fall. Never could I leave you, no. Not at all.
Thank you very much. Would you guys like to judge a contest in June for us? That would be just great. We would appreciate that. We like to end our program by giving you a little chance to take a look at what being a village vocal chord is all about. It's about friendship, it's about music, and it's about sharing that music with people like you who come and support us on our annual shows and various performances. And we thank you for that. Otherwise, we'd be sitting singing in a hall with nobody there, and that's kind of boring. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the friends that we have here in the audience and amongst our chorus here. And especially, thank you for the music.
I'm nothing special, in fact, I'm a bit of a bore. And what's more, if I tell a joke, you probably heard it before. You've heard it before. But I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud. All I want is to sing it out loud. So I say thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing, and thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be is without a song or dance? What are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to. Thank you for music you gave to me. Mother said I was a dancer before I could walk. Before I could walk. She said I began to sing long before I could talk. Before I could talk. But I often wondered, how did it all start? Who found out that nothing can capture a heart like a melody can? Well, whoever it was, I'm a fan. So I say thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing, and thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be is without a song or a dance? What are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me. I've been so lucky. I am the girl with golden hair. I want to sing it out to everybody. What a joy, what a life, what a chance, what a chance. Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing, and thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be is without a song or a dance? What are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to. Thank you for the music in my life, music in my life.
Thank you very much. Before we finish our show tonight, we want to take a minute to thank all of those who were part of the show, starting, of course, with our quartets, Chordacious, Frenzy, euphorics. Of course, our special guests, skinkers. And our special MC, who I didn't understand a word she said, but she was here, Dee Dyer. And under the direction of Jeanne O'Connor, the Village Vocal Chords.
Have you heard of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation? Its purpose is to provide support through advocacy, education, and fundraising for the Elmhurst History Museum, our local Elmhurst history, and the Churchville one-room schoolhouse. Established in 2007 as a nonprofit organization, we initiated an endowment fund and raised funds to complete the renovation of the historic Churchville Schoolhouse. We conducted a capital campaign to develop the new exhibit, by all accounts, The Story of Elmhurst, at the History Museum, and we continue to provide financial support to enhance exhibits, programs, and events at the museum. Yes, we feel strongly about our mission and encourage you to become a member or donor of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation. Please call or go to our website for more information to learn about the benefits of becoming a member or donor by investing in our town, our history, our heritage.